So I just wanted to do like a sit down video and just have a talk about my vegan journey. That is what today's gonna be about, and it will include things like tips, when I went vegan, how I did it, blogs, recipe ideas, documentaries, all of those things. I went vegetarian, so I started to cut out meat when I was around 13 years old. And for me, I started seeing more like PETA was at kind of its height at that time. That was when they were kind of known for doing those kind of more extreme protests and that sort of stuff. And I always loved animals. Like when I was little, I wanted to be a vet, and I was always trying to save like birds and worms and things like that. So it was just kind of difficult for me to continue to eat animals, and I started to cut it out. And my mom was a nurse, so she worked a lot, and I was like kind of fixing food for myself anyway. But she was supportive. She was willing to buy those fake meat substitutes for me. About like 14, I started with beef, cut out all beef, then cut out birds, so turkey and chicken, and then seafood was the last thing that I cut out. And then I was a vegetarian for many years and reincorporated seafood back into my diet. And that was just kind of after my hair started falling out and I started noticing a couple of different things, and I just thought that incorporating, you see so much about fish oil and how good it is for you and that you need it, and I just kind of bought into that marketing and in those messages and started eating fish again for about a year. And I just cut it out after reading some things about microplastics and just various things like that. I just decided, it's not worth it to me. And I had seen no change in my hair falling out. And come to find out, it was just like a getting older thing. My hair was just thinning. And that's just something that happens, I think we're used to talking about it for men, and we don't really address the fact that women's hair does fall out and thin as you get older, the same as men, even though maybe we don't go fully bald, and maybe that's why it's not talked about or seen as common, but it does happen, and it happened to me. So I started to become more healthy, more health conscious. I lost a lot of weight. I was working out. I had started meal prepping, and this was in my adult life, so I was out of college and kind of ready to be a real adult, and I was eating more whole foods, so less processed things, and educating myself on the importance of a whole food diet. And at this time, it wasn't a vegan diet by any means. It was a vegetarian, whole foods diet. But the more I started reading about, those meat substitutes and how they're processed, and also cheese and dairy, I don't know. I also started to realize that I was having some digestive issues. Say that 5 times fast. Digestive issues were not just something that seemed like I could ignore it. It was seeming like I needed to do something to address it, but going to the doctor didn't really feel like the right thing for me to do. When I say digestive issues, I mean I wasn't going to the bathroom regularly. When I was going to the bathroom, it was difficult. And it kind of scared me to the point where I wondered, what is it about my diet that is causing this? Because obviously, when you think digestion, you think of your diet. So that's kind of whenever I decided, okay, I'm going to try to cut out dairy. Now, you need to understand that my favorite food was cheese. I I could have eaten it with every meal. I tried to eat it with every meal. I loved sour cream. Ice cream was, and still is, my favorite dessert. And it just didn't really seem likely that being vegan was something that would stick. But I just wanted to try it for a week and see how difficult it was and how that helped my stomach. So after that week, I felt so much better after those 7 days that I just kept eating vegan. And it's been like 3 years now. And it's just worth it to me how much better I feel. And, you know, yeah, I had those couple of digestive issues that kind of were like a bell going off, I guess. But other than that, I didn't know that I felt bad. I didn't know I felt sluggish. I didn't know that I was unhealthy, basically. It was just all of that, just feeling really good after eating a vegan diet, that I just made the commitment not to go back. And it's been a really beautiful journey, and it's been a really long one. I know that there are people that go vegan very quickly, like my husband. You know, Danny was lactose intolerant and had already cut out his dairy. But he pretty much went vegan overnight after watching a few documentaries with me. We watched What the Health. I think now he's seen Cowspiracy. And for him, it's, you know, people will always say, and you'll always hear vegan for this or vegan for that. So I went vegan for the animals. And I think Danny kind of more or less went vegan for the environment. And I think that everyone that goes vegan does it for one main objective. Like, there are people that go vegan for their health. There are people that go vegan for animals, for the environment, for different things. But once you have been vegan for a while, you stay vegan for all of those reasons. And you just kind of, as you do more reading and research and watch more things and are more active in the community, you learn more. And it can be pretty eye-opening, to say the least. There are still things that I learn about that I'm just like, you know, I wish that everyone would, like, take time to learn about it, and then just just do whatever you want with that information. But I wish that everyone would just take the time to educate themselves on what they're really eating and what's being sold to them. I do eat some, like, substitute meats and cheeses and dairy and that sort of thing. I try to stick to a mostly whole foods diet, which just means that most of what I'm eating are just fruits and vegetables and things that naturally grow and that aren't made in the lab or something like that. But, you know, it's fun to still be able to have burgers like the Beyond Burger. It's fun to be able to have kale, sausage, soup. And there's nothing wrong with that. Some have more clean ingredients than others, the same as anything. I think that whenever you decide to go vegan, you get put under a microscope, and everything that you do and eat, people are like, well, you know, the other day on my Instagram, someone was kind of ranting about, like, wow, I eat fake deli meat. Do I know how processed that is? Yes, I do. And, you know, unfortunately, you have to kind of pick and choose your battles. And I just wanted a sandwich that day. Is it the healthiest thing on earth? No, it isn't. But nothing had to die for me to eat that deli meat, you know. So take what you will from that. I made a little list, so I keep, like, glancing at it, trying to reference it so that I make sure I cover everything I want to cover. I have a few blog posts written about my vegan journey and vegan food swaps and all of that. So I will link all of that in the description down below, so you can have it. It's easy just to have it all written out, and it has all the links that you can just click. And, you know, that was helpful for me going vegan, because I felt like it's this whole new thing. It's this big thing. And reading books and watching documentaries and trying to get as much information from people that had already done it was just really, really beneficial for me. And it made me feel less alone and less like I was like, what? Like overwhelmed. So I want everyone to have that information. And, whether you want to go vegan full-time or just try it out, it's just good to know. Another important thing is that for a while, I was really, really struggling with an eating and an exercise disorder. And I don't always tell people this, but when I feel like people need to know, I do tell them about how, like, going vegan really healed a lot. And I'm still in recovery, but it was going vegan that really healed my eating disorder. Watching YouTube videos of people eating 30 bananas in a day when I was afraid to eat one whole banana really forced the narratives and like the lies that my brain was telling me to quiet and to shift, because I was watching these people that were very, very fit and healthy eat 30 bananas, and I was worried that eating 3 bananas was going to make me overweight. So, that is, for me, it was very like specific. It was these mono diets, these vegans eating like huge amounts of fruits and vegetables in a day and still being healthy that ultimately really helped me. I don't think that that's true. That is going to be true for very many people, because our journeys are so unique, our minds are so unique. But just know that if that is something that you struggle with, that is hard for you, that please just start Googling some different things and watching how other people live, and know that your mind is probably lying to you and that you can heal. There's a question that I know that someone asked specifically, and it was being vegan during the holidays. I'm from West Virginia, and that is where my family is and where we celebrate holidays. My family is very conservative and traditional. Like, when you think of like traditional American Thanksgiving, that is how my family celebrates. So obviously going vegetarian at 14, I just didn't eat the turkey or the ham. But going vegan was a bigger shift, because that pretty much meant I couldn't eat anything, because everything was made with butter or milk or, beef stock. Everything had some kind of animal product in it. And it was very difficult for my mother to be okay. She was really upset at one. I think it was a Thanksgiving, and I had just made soup and brought it and ate at the table with everyone, but it was really upsetting to her. And I don't think, when food is such a central part of your family and how you connect with one another, and when the kitchen is your gathering place, you kind of situate yourself to be an other when you choose a different type of a lifestyle. It won't be easy if that's how your family is as well, but they love you and you love them, and there'll be some growing pains, but as long as you stay understanding of the fact that it's difficult for them to have you change, and try to also have them be understanding that you want to make this change, you guys will meet in the middle of just respecting one another, and it will be fine. And you can make cool things. There was Christmas and Thanksgiving last year that Danny and I did a fully vegan Thanksgiving and Christmas for our families, and it was fun. And, would they do it again if we weren't there? Probably not. But they were into it, and it was, it's all going to be okay. And I know it seems like, oh my gosh, what's my family going to think? But they love you. And if they don't love you, then come over here. Come to Long Beach, and we'll celebrate a holiday together. The grocery store. So when I lived in West Virginia, we did not have Trader Joe's, and we did not have Whole Foods. So I mostly shopped at Aldi And then whatever I couldn't get there, I got at Kroger. And it wasn't a big deal. I could mostly find everything that I needed. If there was something really like specific that I needed, I would just order it online. We live in a time where everything is at our fingertips. Now that I live in Southern California, it's much, much easier. I live within walking distance to a Trader Joe's. Really close by is a Whole Foods. There's an Aldi. There's a specialty store that has like very specific things, and they have all kinds of vegan options. So I am so grateful for that. But if you live somewhere where you feel like there are no options, I promise you that there are. It might just be a little more difficult. It might take talking to the manager. You can do it. Eating at restaurants does change and become a little more difficult, but there's an app for that. Happy Cow is an app, and I'll put the link down in the description just so you are familiar with what it looks like. If you just Google vegan restaurants and then whatever town you're going out to eat, it will be on Happy Cow. What that does is list all of the restaurants that have a vegan or a vegetarian menu option. And it kind of goes in order. So it will start with fully vegan restaurants, and then it will go to like the least friendly version, but that still has an option. I love that app. We use it all the time. We used it when we went to Iceland. We use it here. We use it so often, and it has reviews on there where you can see what other vegans have recommended, what they've said to stay away from. And it's just really nice. It's easy. A lot of people don't know about it. I think they have like an actual app, but I just use the web browser because it's free and it gives me the information that I need. So definitely check out Happy Cow if you are a vegan traveler. And finally, let's talk about supplements. I did a lot of nutritional research whenever I first started to go vegan, and I opted to not take any supplements or vitamins. If I have, like, I'm like on the fence about it. I feel like it's kind of an offshoot of the pharmaceutical industry, and that they tell you need things when you really don't. I do think that you can get everything that you need from your food. That being said, I get my blood taken regularly to make sure that I am getting everything that I need from food, because some of us are more prone to deficiencies than others. I personally, like, my protein level is higher than it really should be, but not anywhere, like, it's not a concern, but it is higher than what the recommended is, which can be hard on your kidneys. That's another thing. There's this huge myth in the West that we need all of this protein. You don't. It's really hard on your kidneys. So if you want to do protein powder, just be really mindful that you're only consuming, the serving that is recommended. And yeah, so back to supplements. So I only take a B12 supplement. It's just one that we picked up at like the store. It's just a vegan. It's a pill. You dissolve it under your tongue. There are lots of options. Just Google it. I would probably recommend a B12 supplement to you if you are going to be vegan, because there is nowhere really that you can get B12. They do put it in nutritional yeast, but I don't eat enough nutritional yeast to call that supplementing my B12. So I just take a B12 supplement once a week. It's not a big deal, but not getting enough B12 can cause a lot of issues that you don't want to have, so it's better to be safe than sorry. Okay, you guys, that's pretty much it for my vegan journey. I hope this was informative, quick enough that you weren't bored. There will be links in the description to learn more if you want to. Oh, just another tip. I would gradually go vegan. I would cut out one thing at a time until you're there. Don't overwhelm yourself. Whenever you get so overwhelmed with change and like, oh my gosh, this is so hard, that's whenever you give up and you decide not to do something. So just cut out one thing at a time. And I would also recommend doing a pantry overhaul. Donate everything that has animal products in it to a homeless shelter. Don't just throw it out. Someone can use it. And then go and stock up your pantry with dry beans, you know, oils, whatever it is that you like to eat, lentils, different types of flour, just fun things that you can experiment with in the kitchen. And that way you have like things to fall back on if you run out of groceries one week. That has been super helpful for me, you know, always having the things on hand to like throw a soup together or throw chili together. It doesn't have to be difficult, it doesn't have to be fancy, but doing that pantry clean out and then putting things in the pantry that are easy to turn into a healthy vegan meal are my top tips. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know if you have any questions. I am always so super willing to talk to anyone that's thinking about going vegan, answering specific questions about it, directing you to someone that knows more than I do. I am not a nutritionist, I am not an expert, but I have been doing this for a while, and I just want to help people go for it when they're ready. I'm not ever going to shove anybody in that direction when they're not ready, because that's not how people aren't going to change if they're not ready. So yeah, I'm super proud of you for any steps you take towards a vegan diet and a vegan lifestyle. The universe thanks you, the animals thank you, your health, your body thanks you. And thank you for watching my video. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't. Like this video, and I'll see you guys next time.